well alive. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Dwayne. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Hi, Scott. Nice to be here.
How's it, Scott?
Good, buddy, good. Now, first of all, tell me, how much sleep, seriously, have you guys had overnight? Starting with you, Patrick.
I would say maybe about 2 hours
And
so far.
you got a really full day today, haven't you, after this interview? You're going to be out and about.
Yes. I'm going to try and see if I can get down to Durban, see if I can get into some of the areas.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will allow us, but I'll try again
Yeah.
and see, get some first-hand experience for certain of the families that we help and see if they're okay.
Yeah. And Dwayne, 2 hours a night is pretty well standard for you, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, no, I'm up there with Pat. Yeah, shut down at what 2:30 last night. We got a few articles out in support of KZN, and yeah, up at 5 and yeah, up and at it.
Wow. Now, Pat, give us an update of what's going on in the KZ KwaZulu-Natal area.
No problem. The latest that we've got is that 300 houses have been abandoned in Port St. John area.
Wow.
Due to the floods and the continuous rain. So 300 houses had to be abandoned. I'm not sure where all those people are, in what shelter they are, where they are. We've just been told that 300 houses had to be abandoned. It wasn't safe.
Is this is this in a white area?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That's what I'll try and find out today. You know, is it a mixed area? Is it the African area, or is it the Indian area? So we will have to find out. I'm still in the dark on that one. That's all that we've got.
Yeah.
So I know that the Bluff area and the Toti area still they're concerned. I know universities has been closed and a lot of schools have been closed due to the flooding. So yeah, it's still a bit of a nightmare there. They're expecting it to clear up by Thursday,
Okay.
but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I just wonder what's happening in areas like the one I'm going to describe now. If you take the road coming from Kokstad and then you travel east going to Port Shepstone, you go through this beautiful area, and there are a lot of these shanty towns, and there are literally thousands of these little shanties built on almost 90-degree slopes. You know, people living on those, and you wonder what the hell is going to be happening there. I mean, all that rain coming down, you know, I've seen video footage of buildings just collapsing as the ground underneath them just disappears on steep slopes, and we have absolutely no feedback about what's happening in those areas. It's absolutely disastrous.
Yeah. So we're trying to get some information on that. And I know they say that the M13, I'm not sure, I've got to confirm it. They say it's closed as well. I think I sent you pictures of these massive rocks on the road.
Yeah.
And I think they've closed the M13 as far as I know.
Right.
I don't know if they cleared the rocks as yet, but I'll find out all that during the morning.
Yeah. Now, tell us about the response you had to the appeal for blankets and clothing and food and bottled water.
Yeah, we had a lovely lady called Carol that contacted me last night just after the live stream, and we chatted for quite a while. So I couldn't answer all the calls that came through, so I do apologize for that. But she's also got clothing and stuff that she's donating, and she's busy speaking to other people to collect as well.
Fantastic.
So that's great. The response has been absolutely fantastic. You know, people coming on board to help, and I think with them seeing the photos and the videos, they can actually see what is really happening down in KZN.
Yeah. Now, Dwayne, you're here. Apparently, you're doing a couple of new videos which are going to address exactly what's happened in this particular event.
Yes. So we'll be putting out 3 videos in total. So one of them particularly pertains to community policing forums and community camaraderie in situations like this. Then likewise, we just have a general environmental safety video that we will be putting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll also be touching on post-flood. We have an article that we're putting out about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yes, we've really touched on a few in the past 6 hours.
So really valuable information for people who are in this position.
Definitely. If we just look at one of the examples, of landslides.
Yeah.
And let's actually take an extract out of one of these articles.
Yeah.
So, particularly talking about landslides, never walk close to or on top of a landslide. The soil or the material. These materials are highly unstable. These materials may begin to drift again well after they seem to have settled. Wait for emergency services and public works to clear the debris from the roadway. These landslide materials may be subject to soil liquefaction. This occurs when saturated or partially saturated soil substantially loses its strength and stiffness in response to an applied stress, such as shaking or other sudden changes in stress conditions.
Was someone walking on it?
Most certainly. And if we look at these videos of people traversing these landslides, they need to understand that the stuff can still, first off, trigger more landslides, continue sliding itself, or become a liquid form whereby it is no longer a solid, it behaves like a liquid, and you sink into it. So yes, there's quite a few things that people are not generally used to in their environment that has become more of a risk than it would be in their everyday lives. And I think it's that perception of your surroundings and the safety of your surroundings that has changed, and people need to have a change in their mindset of how safe their environment is around them.
Right. Now, Patrick, we'll probably speak tonight your time again, just to get another update, see what's happening. Look, as I've said to you before, just take care. Don't do anything silly. You really are helping so many people that you've just got to realize that it's very dangerous out there, and be careful.
No, well,
good. Now, Dwayne, is there anything you want to add at this stage?
I just want to touch again on the water. People need to understand that the water that they are wading through and so forth, so on, where there are still bodies of water, contain affluent and bacteria, which can make them very sick very quickly. It's a pivotal point that people play off. And this water, especially for the flooded houses like we saw in some of those photos, a lot of this contaminated water enters into the homes. It saturates the cupboards, wood, furniture, beds. And all of that bacteria is in all of these items. So people need to keep in mind that it's not just the water itself, but it's everything the water has touched.
So how do they fix that?
If we look a little... Sorry?
How do they fix that? If I've got a bit of furniture that's been impacted by water, do I throw it out, or do I renovate it, or what's the best option?
It depends on how bad the flooding is.
Okay.
But if we look at a lot of the flood recommendations for items that have been affected by effluent, it's normally thrown out. I mean, if we take a couch, for example, how do you clean the interior of a couch?
No, that's gone.
The entire thing needs to be stripped down.
Yeah.
And that bacteria remains inside that couch, inside the wood. It saturates into the wood. So one of the very big parts is if we're now going down that road, is you would need to do an assessment on your home on what has been lost. That assessment is not only used by your insurer, but by the state as well, to determine the level of loss and then the level of compensation should it be declared a disaster zone. Because remember, the government then should have disaster relief funds in place. But in the same breath, this cannot be relied upon if we look at the farmers of Bultfontein.
I was about to
They've been-
say exactly that. You know,
Yes.
the farmers in Bultfontein have been in a disaster area for years, and they haven't received 1 cent of compensation from the government.
And I'm really hoping that this isn't the case with KwaZulu-Natal, because there are, as Patrick says, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of families that are affected.
Yeah.
And the government needs to come to the party. But if we look at track record with Bultfontein, I don't think it's something that you can just openly rely on. It's so sad.
Yeah, and South Africa needed this right now like a hole in the head.
It's horrific. It really is. This is the last thing that the citizens should be endured to go through.
Yeah.
It really is.
Now, Patrick, I know you've got a really busy day ahead of you. Is there anything you'd like to just say to our community here on Loving Life?
Scott, I just want to thank you, the community, really, for all the calls and the help that they offered. I think we still going to need a hell of a lot of blankets. A lady just from Howick on a farm, Sandy, said that we can get water from her if we need. So that's one good thing. So we at least can get good clear spring water that we can take down to people. Yeah, so I'm grateful about that. And yeah, if people just got old blankets or old clothing that we can use, so there will be a lot of kids, especially kids, that's going to have nothing. And the weather here in Durban is freezing at the moment. So the blankets is the key thing for us, just to send to some of our people. The lady in Craigieburn also just sent me a message and said the whole family was just chucked out of their houses, that she'd just taken in. So I've got to go and see if I can help them, because these kids got no food and nothing now at the moment. They were just left out on the street. Parents actually kind of kicked them out. So I've got to go and see what the situation down there. I don't know with some people, Scott. Some people's minds are, I don't know, are fried or something. I don't know how you can just kick out families and kids on the street, especially when you've got a flooding going on in Natal. So she battles herself. So I mean, I just helped her two weeks ago with food and rent and petrol and stuff, and now she's got this whole family in there again. So I've got to go and see what I can do.
I guess what people need to realize is that, you know, if you are in a house that's been completely flooded out, all your blankets, all your clothing is cactus. You can't use it. So all you're left with is the stuff that you're wearing on your back, and that's probably soaking wet.
Exactly.
And that's why there's such a need for blankets, fresh blankets and clothing for these people, just as a starting point. It's like a baseline, isn't it? Especially when it's cold.
It's just, it's just the basics that they need, you know. Like I say, if it clears up, as they say on Thursday and over the weekend, we'll be able to get more done. But before that, we want to try and gather as much food and blankets and clothing. I know I picked up quite a bit yesterday, clothing that I got to go through today and just see what it is that we can use. So, but yeah, we're going to need a hell of a lot more than that.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we're here to support you, Patrick. Dwayne, is there anything you want to add?
No, I think if we can just do catch-ups this evening, I think that is spot on. Yeah,
we'll do one at about 8 p.m. And I'm thinking maybe we'll do a live stream, because that way people in the side chat can get involved and we can talk. You know, they can answer questions and things like that. What do you think, guys?
I'm definitely game for it.
Okay, well let's do a live stream then tonight at 8 p.m. Johannesburg time. It'll be a most unusual occurrence on Loving Life, but it is what it is, as I always say. I'll put a link to the live stream down below this video as well. So the links I'm going to have is Patrick's cell phone number. So if you've got blankets, clothing, food, bottled water you can help with, and especially if you live in the KwaZulu-Natal area, please don't hesitate to call Patrick. And don't spend an hour and a half on the phone with him. Just spend 5 minutes on the phone with him, because he's probably got 20 other people trying to get through. So keep the calls short and to the point, and let him know how you can help. And Patrick, I'm sure, will have a checklist of things. Alrighty, and don't forget that with the live stream tonight, we'll also be covering updates on what's happening in Durban, and Dwayne will be giving advice on prepping and stuff like that.
Great.
All right, guys, look, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to put this video up, and I've got another interview that I'm getting into in a very short while with COPE's leader, the Honourable Lakota. We got a few things we're going to be talking about, so that's totally different to this discussion, but it's going to be very, very interesting having a chat to him. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. And what I'm going to do at the end of this interview, once I put the video together, I'm going to attach the images that Patrick sent me, which are just an update of images of what's going on in Durban. All righty.
That's perfect.
Okay, guys.
Godspeed. Thank you so very much.
Take care, Patrick, and look, as I say, look, just stay safe, okay?
Will do.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers,
bye.
Scott. Cheers, Pat.
Bye.
Cheers, Dwayne.
Hello? What's new? No, it's not. What?
Oppas. This is bad, huh? Kijk mooi Mercedes landen. Kijk hoe lê die karre.
Die mense se kar nie veilig. Hulle loop op. Nikkie,
Oppas, kom weg daar. Ag man,
hy
fietsak.
daar binne gewees. Ha? Dis mos hier waar jy die ou van die tattoos is. Nikkie?
Ja.
Kyk daai kar. Daar is sy van op.
How many cars? Oh, a lot of
Zie
cars
jy?
Ja.
inside. As the Mercedes-Benz and
Die ou by
Hyundai and Mercedes.